Okay, so I just want to confirm if everyone in the meeting received their Azure activation codes. Who is in the meeting and did not receive their Azure activation code?
He got fed.
Okay, so if there's no one who, if everyone received the Azure activation codes, then I think Eric, we can get started. So in any case, you didn't receive your Azure activation codes, just let me know. Just let me know, and then I'll send you. Let me just paste the link of the form you need to be filling. Okay, I've dropped the link on the charts. So it's quite simple. If you didn't receive the other activation codes, just fill that form and let me know once you fill it. Yeah, then I'll be sending the code to your email address. Yeah, thank you. So in your today's session, Eric is going to be taking us through on how to write your first bot. So what Eric is going to do is quite simple. We'll be showing you how to use the template that is provided to you on the iGaming platform, and how to implement the landmark identification, and also how to implement the character recognition. Now, once Eric has done that, then I'll now come in and maybe show you how to optimize your code and how to make it score more points. Yeah, thanks everyone. Eric, can take it on.
Yes, hello everyone. Yeah, my name is Eric Uma. I'm a Microsoft Student Learn Ambassador. I'm also a student at Kenyatta University. Yeah, those of you who are in the data structures section, the session, sorry, the data structures session. I believe it was the second one. Yeah, I was also there. Felix, how much time do I have?
Okay, you got around like 45 minutes.
Sorry?
You have got around 45 minutes.
45, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's even more than enough. Yeah, so I'll be quickly taking us through how to get started with the AI gaming bot. So let me just share my screen. Kindly confirm that you're able to see my screen.
Yes, you can see your screen, Eric.
Okay. So I believe most of you are already familiarized with this platform. If you have not, you should purpose to do so. So this is the AI gaming platform. So if you're not familiar with this platform, once you log in, you basically come to this tab over here. You click on editor, and once you click on editor, that will take you to where the real work happens. Yeah. So maybe just to take you through this interface that you can see over here. So this is of course the editor where you're editing your code. And then this is the navigator, whereby it's like the file navigator, whereby you can see some of the files you've created, and yeah, you can delete or edit files from here. You can create a new file using this. This one is for saving your file. This is for selecting the match game. So like right now we are talking about for selecting the game type. So right now we are talking about the match game. So you need to make sure that you're in the right game. So make sure that you're playing the match game. This is selecting your opponent, the person you want to play with. It doesn't need to be anyone, like a person, a human being. There is a bot that is provided by default that you can use for your practice. I've never used this, but I just leave it as default. So these are some settings. Waiting time, thinking time, number of games you want to play. Thinking time is when you run your bot, when it's now doing the matching, it might be moving very fast and you're not able to follow what's happening. So editing this, you can slow it down so that you can follow or see what is happening. And then this is the button for running your code, or basically computing. And then over here we have this tab over here that gives you some information about the game you're playing. And also it's also the logging section, whereby some of the logs from the game are produced. Yeah, so let's get started. So first, what you need to do is basically create, because you're using the Microsoft, you're using Azure services, so you need to create a file using this Microsoft API template name. So you can just give it a name of your choice. Okay. So yeah, this is the default code that comes with the file. I hope by now most of us are familiarized with the Python things, and we're able to comprehend most of the things in this file. So I'll just take us quickly through this. So this is your bot name. You can decide to change it and call it anything that you feel is good. That's the request library, the built-in library in Python. This is JSON library for manipulating JSON JavaScript object notation. This is the random library, time library. That's obvious. I believe we've also been taken through how to get an API key from Microsoft. Yeah, the computer vision API key. So you just come over here and change this, replace the value that is over here, and the rest of the things are just left the way they are. These are just variables that are being set over here that will be used by the functions below. So let me just remove this comments. So calculate move. So this is the main function in this game, or I'll say it's the core, the most important one, where the real game is being played. So this is the function that if you want to maybe optimize your code or do some improvements, this is the go-to function. Yeah, it's where basically it's deciding the next. It's the brain, kind of, though it works with the other functions, but I'll say it's the main brain of the game. And then we have get unmatched tiles. So if I can just let me just let me just go back so that I can show us something. So this is a sample. So as you can see over here, this is a sample animation of a game that was played before. So by unmatched tiles, the tiles that are in blue, let me say so, the tiles that are in blue that are all similar, kind of similar, those are the unmatched tiles, so they are still covered. And then the tiles that you can see either green or red on them, those are the tiles that have already been matched. Yeah, so that's what is meant by unmatched and matched tiles. And then oops, I've lost my file, sorry. Yeah, so that's what is meant by matched and unmatched tiles, or analyzed tiles, or unanalyzed. So unmatched are those that have not yet been, matched with another, whether to check whether it's an animal or they have a similar text, or both of them are landmarks. Unanalyzed tiles are basically tiles that they're also unmatched, but they've not yet gone through they've not yet been passed to the Microsoft function that is supposed to check them out. And then this is the function for analyzing the tiles. Basically, you'll see that they have been decoupled in such a way so as to make it easier to follow and understand, because if they will be written in one big function, it might be difficult to follow up on what is happening. So this analyzes a certain set of tiles compared to the current game state. So that is the tiles that have already been matched, or those that have not yet been matched. This is for analyzing a single tile. This function analyzes a single tile. And then, yeah, here we have now the functions that work with some of the functions that work with this function, the analyze tile function. So as you can see here, this one says check for animal. So basically what this does is, given a tile, it checks whether that tile, it checks the content of the tile, but it's specifically interested in finding out whether that tile has some type of an animal. And then so as Felix has mentioned, I'll be taking us through what has not yet been implemented over here, and that is checking for landmarks and the optical character recognition. So the other code, I will say, if you're still new to this, I will suggest you just leave it the way it is. You don't need to interfere with it, because you might give yourself a lot of trouble. Yeah, so let's run this and see what happens first. Some of you might be wondering what happens when you run this. Oh, I've not yet put my API key. So I'll just place my API key pretty fast. Here. The board name Thor does not exist. Okay. I don't know why that's behaving. Probably someone is using that name. So this is what you're supposed to see when you click on the run button. So basically it's playing with the inbuilt bot, the running bot. So as you can see, as I mentioned, this is the logging place whereby it's very important for debugging. If you want to see what's happening in your code and you want to find out what could be wrong, this will come in very handy. It will really help you doing that. So as you can see currently, this is my bot, the one that we've just created right now, and this is the inbuilt, the house bot practice. So it's basically comparing tiles in pairs, so as to find out whether they have a landmark, or they have a similar animal, or they have a similar text. So as you can see, the default code that we're provided with performs pretty much well. Though there are some, I will say there are some things that it's doing that are basically guessing. It's guessing, yeah. So I have won this game. I've not really won because I've not written any code over there. Yeah, so that's basically what happens when you run the default code over here. And because this is a competition, you need to make sure that you'll have to make sure that you improve your bot, because everyone will be using this. I will say the list of us will be having this code. So there's no magic that will happen to help you perform better if you don't improve your code. So the important things that we need to know here is one is the response that we're getting from Microsoft. So as you can see in this function over here, the check for animal function, we have this Microsoft API response. So it's very important for you to be able to know how to use this, to know how to use it appropriately. You need to know the content that is inside it. So we'll just print it over here. Let's print, and then we'll see what happens. Immense response. Microsoft API response. If you're not familiar with the JSON library, the JSON library for Python, you can just check it out in the documentation so as to find out what it's doing, and then we'll have to indent our code with that too. Okay. Element response JSON dumps. Yep. Okay. So let's run and okay, I think it is. So I'll not wait for it to finish. I'll just stop it, and then I'll copy this response so that you can see what is some of the information that it contains. Yep, there it begins. Copy. So if you can just put it down here. Yeah, so this is the response that we are getting from Microsoft. So it's important to understand how it's structured so that you know how to get what you want. I believe right now we know how to manipulate the built-in Python data structures, that is dictionaries, lists, and tuples, of which here what we have is basically dictionaries and lists. So so as you can see, we have the Microsoft response in itself. Of course, it's a JSON object, and but using Python, you can now get it. We can convert it to Python data structures that we're familiar with. So this one here is a dictionary. So as you can see, this is a dictionary, a key that has the value of a list, which has some dictionaries inside it, and yeah, they have all been nested inside each other. And so, for instance, let's say we want to access okay, yeah, we have so we have this value over here. So we have these names of animals over here. So we have the tags name, the confidence, and the hint of the animal. So basically what you'll need to do over here, of course, is you'll obviously begin with let's say you have a variable called animal. You'll obviously begin with the initial okay, let's assign this to that. You basically begin with that, and then this is a dictionary. So we need to access the categories. I'm just doing this for those who might be wondering, or yeah, those who might be wondering what is happening. So those are categories, and then we have color, and then we have actually we don't need to access the categories because tags tags is outside, so we'll have to access tags in this case, and then we'll have to access the tags, and then so if for let's say we want this initial value over here, I will talk more about how to sort this thing later based on what has the highest confidence. So of course, if you want the first value in the tags, what you need to do is just place the index 0, and then and that's a dictionary you're trying to access, and then the next what you're interested in is the name. So this should be equal to the value reptile over here. It should be equal to that value over there. So you need to understand the response you're getting from Microsoft so as to know how to extract what you want from it. Yeah, that's just a quick overview about this. Yeah, so make use of this debugging section over here, so as to see the content and the structure of the response from Microsoft. Okay, let's go through what has already been done for us first. So we have the check for animal function over here. So it takes in two variables, two arguments. We have the Microsoft API response and the list of animals that we are expecting or that have been used. So initially our subject is none. So the subject is the name of the animal basically. So over here we're printing the Microsoft API response. So if tags in Microsoft API response, so basically we are checking if the Microsoft API response, which is a dictionary, has this key called tags. And if it has that key called tags, we are looping through each of the tags. We are looping through the values of that tag. Remember, tags was it contained, if you can just get back, it's a list of dictionaries. So we are looping through the list which contains dictionary. So sorted is a Python. Sorted is a built-in method in Python that helps you sort data structures based on various parameters, either alphabet, the value, the number, whether it's bigger than or greater than or length. So we are accessing the tags over here, which is a list of dictionaries, and then it's being sorted using. I hope most Lambda is a quick way to define a function in Python. So this could also be an external function, but using Lambda is just a quick way to do it because it's not like we'll need this function or we'll be using it elsewhere. So we want to sort this list of tags based on this key called confidence. So as you could see over here, we had the key called confidence, which is a float. So basically, for those of us who are familiar with machine learning, for all of us who are familiar with machine learning, we all know that it's all about probability and stuff. So basically, these are probabilities given by the API of what it thinks. So it has a 99% probability that this animal is a reptile, or this animal is a turtle, or this is a, you see. So based on these probabilities that we've been given here, of course, what you are interested in is the highest value, and that's why over here we are trying to sort it out. It's being sorted, and then after it has been sorted, we are reversing. Remember, it's being sorted from in an ascending order, but we are interested in it in a descending order. So it will help us quickly get the highest value. So after it has been sorted, we are checking whether the key name is inside the tag. So the name was the suggested name of the animal, whether it's a turtle, a lion, or whatever. So we are checking whether the name is in the tag, and we are also checking whether that name is within the animal list that we've been provided with. And if so, we're basically assigning that value to the subject over here. And of course, we are lowercasing it. And once we are done with finding what we want, to just break out of this for loop and return the subject. And if it was not found, of course, it will return none. Yeah, so that's an explanation of what has been done for us. So now let's get into what we are supposed to do ourselves. So check for landmark. So we've been given the Microsoft API response, and we need to check whether it has found some landmarks from the tile that has been analyzed. So of course, as I've mentioned earlier, the main thing that is being worked with here is the subject variable. That is what is being used by the functions that we saw earlier on. So yeah, this is the default skeleton for the functions that we'll be using. So And that's why I said it's important to understand the Microsoft Response API. So you'll need to come here and find out where the landmarks are in this response. So going through it, you can see that landmarks. So yeah, landmarks are located within this list of categories. So of course, for you to access the landmarks, you'll need to come to the categories over here. And you can see categories is the list of values. So it has more than one value, which means, so that suggests that you'll need a for loop, or you'll need a loop to do that. And yeah, just to save on time and to go a bit quicker, where is the function check for landmark? Okay. So we've seen that the landmarks are in the categories. In the categories. So that's what you'll want to do first. And then we've also said it's a list. So you'll probably want to look through it, even if it has one value, it will obviously be a list, and you can't be sure that it has a single value or not. So we'll say for category in for the categories in the Microsoft API response. So we want to find out the landmarks, and of course, from what the hint we found earlier from the tags, what we are interested in here is the name. What you're mainly interested in here is the name. Of course, later on you'll see why you'll need to be interested in the score and all those other things. So and then we've been, for instance, over here we have this, and we've been given the details. So some of them, as you can see, they are varying. So it depends with what the Microsoft API response found from that tile. So these dictionaries might vary. So in this case, I believe we'll work with this because it has the details that we are expecting. So the landmarks basically that it has found from that tile. So we need to access the landmark over here, and for that we've already accessed the category. So this is a category. This over here is a category. Now we need to access the landmarks, which are the category over here is a dictionary. So the landmarks is inside the detail, which is a key in the categories. So that means what you'll want to do is, so over here you'll want to, so for this category, you'll want to access the detail. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat section. We'll talk about them. We'll be going through them in once we are done with the call. And then detail is also a dictionary that has a key called landmarks. So that's what we're interested in. And then landmarks, as we saw over here, is a list, which means for us to access the values inside landmark, we'll need to index using zeros or ones. So in this case, because the tile that we're analyzing over here had no landmarks, I'm not sure if there's another tile that has landmarks that we can check. A response that had landmarks inside it. Yeah, we have this response that had landmarks. So if I can steal this, steal that, and then put it over here. Oh, landmarks. Okay. Yeah, so we have this landmarks list over here. So it's a list of dictionaries. So it has one value right now. So we'll need to index that value with 0, basically. So landmarks, we'll need to index that with 0. And then we said it's a list of dictionaries. So after getting the first dictionary, that is this dictionary over here. So we're interested in the name of this landmark. So we are told that this landmark is called the Sleeping Beauty Castle. So we're interested in the name. The name is what we're interested in. So we'll have to, again, use the name. Yeah, so this should give us the name of the landmark. This should give us the name of the landmark. So, and as you saw in this function over here in the check, so the function that will be provided over here should guide you into what you are expected to do or you're supposed to do. Basically, after finding the name from what we saw over here, that was our interest, and so that's the subject. So we'll just assign this to subject. And then, of course, all the subjects need to be lowercase, so we'll lowercase this. And of course, the Microsoft Response API has more than one value. So once we have found what we want to just break out of this loop. Yeah, so this will be the most basic way of the most basic way of implementing the check for landmark function. I wish I noted I forgot to note the performance of the bot before implementing this function. So so right now, if you run this function, we should be expecting an improvement from the previous performance, and that's because we are not only checking for animals, we are not only able to match animals, but we're also able to learn to match landmarks. And maybe a question you can take over here, something that you've probably noted, the initial Microsoft API response that I pasted over here did not have the landmarks list was empty. This list over here was empty. So which means you should be aware that it's not all the time that these values will the values inside this dictionary, this JSON object will be having something inside. So once in a while there are values that might be empty. So you'll need to be cautious of that. And you can easily do that by using if statements, just as it has been done in this function over here. Myself, I'm very lazy, so I'll do this. This is for lazy people. Don't try this. So basically, it will either get an index error or a key error, depending on the data structure that it was trying to get data from. So if it does not find anything of interest, it just continues running through the loop. And yeah, this should work. So if you can run our bot right now, it should be able to match landmarks. So let's run it and see what happens. It should be displaying. Okay. So so initially it was, so the animals, the tiles that have animals, this was already implemented for us. So as you can see, it's matching animals. So this is I believe this is a deer or something of that sort, and this is also a deer. So those have been matched. These are chicken. Those are animals. So as you can see, we have landmarks over here that have already been matched. I'm not sure what landmarks they are. Oh, this is that the London, yeah, the Eye of London, yeah. So we have this landmark that has been matched to its fellow tile, which is, yeah, this one here. If you can see I hope people can see my screen. Yeah, this is the London Eye that has been matched to this landmark over here. This is also another landmark. Yeah, the Capitol Hall, and then the other image that has the Capitol Hall is over here. Yeah, so as you can see, our bot is performing much better. So if you might have observed previously, we had lesser green tiles. So right now our bot has scored 33. So let me note that down. So we have 33. So previously, before we implemented the landmark function, we had lesser green tiles because it was only matching animals and doing much of guesswork, like this one over here. So as you can see, the houseboat practice, which I think is just doing guesswork, has only matched 4 tiles or 2. Yeah, so that's the simplest way to implement the check for landmark function using the Microsoft Vision API. So the next thing that we are supposed to do is we're supposed to implement the, I hope I updated it over here. It's the analyze tile function. The analyze tile function. Yeah, so as you can see in the analyze tile function, these functions have already been called for us because they expected us to implement these functions. So we have the check for landmark function that has already been implemented for us. And then check for animal function that was also already implemented for us. So the next thing we're supposed to do is now the optical character recognition, which has not been included over here. So what we'll need to do is we'll just do a similar thing. Just copy paste this and put it over here. So this one is checking for text, and so this one will work differently. Basically, will be okay. I'll just clarify that once we reach there. Let me just leave it as is. Yeah, so we have the check for landmark function that is already there. We have check for animal. Now we need to implement this function over here, the optical character recognition function. So it's not very different from what we have done here, just maybe a little variations. So check for text. So just as I mentioned, what should be guiding you here is the response that you get from Microsoft. So once again, let's go through this response and find out about optical character recognition. So we've already checked the landmarks. These are colors. We are not working with colors over here. These are animals. We've already checked for animals. Captions. These are just captions based on the check for animal response. So maybe if I can look for, if you can run our bot again, and we are running out of time. If you can run our bot again, hopefully we'll. Let me comment out these other things. There are too many. If you can run our bot again and get some. Okay, we have an indentation error. Where is that? Oops. Line 246. Oh, yeah. So if you can run our bot again. So let's wait. We get some response over here, and then we see if it will have what we want. So this one still has animals. Okay. Captions, descriptions. These ones are just animals and landmarks. Oh yeah, it has ended. Okay, so let's see these responses and see if we have something that might be of use to us. Okay, this one, these are just animals and landmarks. Animals and landmarks. If you're wondering how I know what I'm looking for, it's because I've done this, and yeah, it's not my first time doing this. That's why I know what I'm looking for. This animals and landmarks. Animals and landmarks. Animals and okay. Hope we're not getting what we're looking for. Categories. It seems we don't have something here yet. It's fine. I'll just explain from the information I already have. So if you get oh sorry, I've actually remembered. That's why I was misleading myself. So when you are the Microsoft response, the response you are getting from the Microsoft Vision API, it does not come with responses for, that is earlier on. It does not come with responses for optical character recognition. So basically, we'll have to implement that ourselves, because what has been done up here, for those of you who will check out this code, you'll just familiarize with this code and you'll find out what has been done up here is mainly image recognition, and so we do not have the one that works with the one for optical character recognition. So we'll need to implement that by ourselves. And of course, for us to implement that by ourselves, the starting point is a tile, because this is what we're being given from the game. So given these tiles, so the template is the skeleton of the code is basically the same as the other one. So we have our subject initialized as none, and then if it's not you return that. So initially, this was the URL that was being used by the Microsoft response, the Microsoft that we are providing to the Vision API. For those of you who will check the documentation or have already checked, for us to get a response that will also have the text recognized in images, we have to edit that URL and enable it to also perform OCR. So basically, we'll have a new URL, the OCR URL. So we'll be working with the initial URL that we had, the vision-based URL that we've seen up there. And then all this information is from documentation of the documentation of the API. So you can just check it out after this. So this is the base URL. This is now the URL that we'll be working with. And then, so how do we get the response from this? So just call the Microsoft, has been implemented up here, the Microsoft API call, and then we need this URL. So as I've mentioned, this is all in the documentation, so you can just check it. You can just check it after this. So the other parameters that are taken by this Microsoft API call, we have the parameters that we're interested in analyzing, which will be initially empty. So there's supposed to be a dictionary. So we'll have the params which are initially empty. The other parameter taken by this, which has been defined up here, the headers that are supposed to be taken. Yeah, the headers, this one over here, where you defined your API key. So this is the other parameter taken by the Microsoft API call function. Actually, it's down here. Yeah, here it is, the Microsoft API call. So it takes in the URL, the params, the headers, and the data. So we already have the URL, the params is initially an empty dictionary, the headers have been provided. The data will show us how to do so. And then the other thing it takes is the data. So our data here will be a dictionary, keeping the URL, and then the data that we are passing to it is the tile itself, the details of the tiles. Okay, so the tile. Okay. Yeah, so that's the data that will be passing to this function, and from there now we'll be able to receive. We should be able to receive response related to optical character recognition. So you can print that out of. We can print that out over here, and then we'll see what happens. So we have checks. So we'll need to change our analyze tile function. It's supposed to receive a tile. Yes. So the subject is initially none. The parameters are initially none. Our URL, we're supposed to append the string to it, and then we have the data that we're using, which is a dictionary, and then we're accessing the tile. And then the Microsoft API response, we do this call and then call the data, and yeah, that should work. So let's see if we should get one of the responses here should have information related to OCR, that's optical character recognition. So okay. Let's see. It's scrolling up pretty fast. Okay. Let's save on time and just end this. So okay. This one here does not have this one here. Okay, yeah. This one here is, I think we can work with this. Yeah, we can work with that for now. So and paste that over here. So you can see the response that is related to optical character recognition comes in the value of the region's key. So these are basically the coordinates of where the text has been found, and then we have the words now that have been found. So the coordinates, and then this is the word that has been found. So for us to, so this is what we are interested in. So we're interested in this text. So just like the other one, what we need to do is to access the text is, so we'll need to access the regions key. The regions. So we need to access the regions key, which has which is a list. So from what we have here, it only has one value. So we'll just take the first value, and then text is inside the lines list again. So we'll access lines key, which has it's a list. It has from what I'm seeing here, it has one dictionary inside it. So we'll access the first value from it, and then the next one will be the words key, and then we'll want to access now. So the words is the words is the list, so we'll need to access that. And it's a list of dictionaries. It's a list of a dictionary, so it has one dictionary as per now. So we'll need to access text. So this should give us Azure, what we have over here. So of course this is being called from the response value. So if you go back to our check for text function, so remember our main interest is the subject. That's what we need to get a value for, and these values are being accessed from the Microsoft API response. So this should give us the text that we now have. And as we saw earlier, and even as we are seeing over here, as you can see, this response over here, it has the regions key, but this response over here does not have. So you need to be aware of that, because if you don't do that, you'll be getting errors. And there are many ways to do this. I prefer this easier way. I do this because it helps me save my time. Yes. So yeah. So we're already checking the text, and this should now work for us effectively. And let's just confirm that check for text. It receives the tile function. And yes. So let's run our bot now with this and see what happens. So yeah, it's very probabilistic. So you might not be getting the same performance each time, because it's machine learning. It's probabilistic. So previously our bot got 33. So let's see. Yeah, it's got 33. That is the first one the second one that I ran. The third one got 26. Let's see what this will get. We already have 12 points. The bot we're working with is this one here. So we have 14 points right now. Yeah, so as you can see, it's now performing optical character recognition, and it has been able to match these two tiles based on the text API. So this tile has the word API, and this image has the word API. So it has been able to match them. So we've scored 34, and we've been able to match, we've been able to match all the tiles correctly. Yeah, we've been able to match all the tiles correctly. And we've scored 34, which is our highest score for the day, followed by 33 and 26. Yeah, and that's all about implementing, using the Microsoft Vision API for to implement optical character recognition and checking for landmarks. So I'll just emphasize once again, make sure you know what you're getting from the Microsoft Response API, because that is the best way to know what you're looking inside, to know what you're working with. Yeah. And yeah, I think I'll end it here also because of time. And yeah, I'll hand over to Felix, who can help me get some, if you have any questions, I believe, and then we proceed. Yeah, Felix, you can proceed. Hello. Hello. You are muted.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. I never realized I was muted. Okay. Confirm if you can hear me.
Sorry?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we
Okay,
can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Now and show you now how to optimize your code. Yeah. Okay, so maybe for those of you who are in the meeting, I know maybe you are thinking that, okay, this thing is something difficult. It's not something difficult. It's even if you're new to Python, it's not something difficult. If you are already having some, if you are having some background in Python programming or any other language, and it's your first time doing Python programming, you can still make it and become a winner in this tournament. So the reason why I'm saying that is because I personally, I'm still new to Python, and let me say, I started learning Python when I started organizing this event. So I'm still not that stable with Python. Now, Eric has taken you through the basics on how to optimize your code. How to match all the tiles. So that is the basic thing you need to do. Now, what we'll be doing is now how to optimize your code. So I want to be like I will just be taking you through, giving you some tips and tricks, but then most of the things you'll be doing yourself. So let me show you an example of a game I just played. So I hope you guys can see my screen. This is a game I was just working on this bot while Eric was taking you guys through, and you can see my bot managed to get up to 32,770 points. Another one I played over here, and you can see my bot got up to 4,000 points. That is after it has been optimized. So maybe I just want to play it once more, then we see. Yep, so let me run it. So the reason why at first it's called 37,000, then once again it's called 4,000, it's because it's not well optimized. Yeah, so meaning there is still some room for probability. And once if you optimize your bot enough, you can do away with all the probability and ensure that by the time the game is ending, you got the highest points possible. Yeah. So one thing if you take a look at my board while it's playing, you can see that for the first 18 moves, I'm not matching anything. I'm doing the analysis of all the tiles. So I'm doing the analysis for the first 18 moves. You can see it's being printed. The move number is on the sidebar. And once I get up from 18th move is where now I start doing the matching. Yeah. So that is one bonus you need to note down. So from 19, you can see I want to start doing some matching. Okay. The 7th move, okay, nothing happened. I scored 0. Okay, let's see what's let's see what's wrong. Maybe this okay, so the housebot work. This is not it's a big joke because there's no way the housebot can win, and it has never won. Let me refresh this page and maybe run this bot once more and see what happens. Yeah. Okay, let me just take a look at something. Maybe I'm running the wrong bot. Yeah, this is the bot. Yeah, that is the bot. Okay, let's run it. Okay. So it shouldn't do any matching until the 18th move. Yep. Let's give it some time. 7, 8, 8. 12th, 13th move, 14th move, 16th move. Okay, so they've already done some matching, which is bad. If any matching is done before that point, then obviously it's going to lose. It's not going to get that high number of points. So let's see what happens when we get to that. We'll do some. Okay, so times 16 times 2 times 8 times aha. 34, 66, 2000, 2050. Yeah, so you can see it scored 8,197 points. So the game 18,000. The game has not ended yet. Yeah, so you see the game has ended. Maximum number of moves made, winner, Digiflex bot. So you can see it's 8,194 points. Now I want to take you through the tips on how to optimize your bot. So the first thing, the first secret of winning this bot is capturing the bonus category, right? So when I talk of the bonus category, when this game is playing, you realize that on each and every move we make, each and every time it's my turn to play, we get back the game state, and the game state comes back with the bonus category for the next move, right? So I want to show you, for example, a sample game state. So a sample response. So I mean, a sample response from when you make a move, this is the response that you get. You will get the board, the status of the board, the points you have, the opponent points. So this was something that I copied when for the first move, and then the upturned tile. So remember the upturned tiles, this one shows your previous move. And one thing you need to take a note of is that the upturned tiles, if it's your first move, your upturned tiles will have nothing. But then if you make a move and you win, your upturned tiles will also be empty. But if you make a move and you fail, your upturned tiles is going to come up with the previous move that you made. And then the important thing I want you guys to take a look at is the bonus category. So it's telling me that at this point, the bonus category is animals, right? So what happens is that, let me get back to that place. When this game is playing, when I make a move and I win, I'll get 1 point, right? When I make another move and win, I get now ×2 of the previous winning I had, right? When I make another move and win, it's multiplied by 2. So it's how do you call it? It's factorial. What's that? It's in multiples of 2. So you keep they keep multiplying it by 2 as long as you win consecutively. So if in any case you play and win, you get 1 point. You play again and win, the next move it's multiplied by 2. So meaning it's going to be now 2. That is now 1 + 2 is 3. I play again and win, it's now going to be 2 times, so that is 4. Now your total points is 1 + 2 + 4, like that until you get to that high number of points. But then in between, if you make a move and you fail, then you get back to 1. Now that one works only if you take care of the bonus category. So what that means is that, first of all, you can make around 36 moves. You have how many tiles? You have 36 tiles. So the trick is to, first of all, analyze all content of the tile. Make sure you know all the content of this tile. And then after knowing all the contents of this tile, you can do that within the first 18 moves. Yeah. Then on the last 18 moves, you now start matching, right? And when matching, you take a look at the bonus category, like, because the game state will always be coming with the game state will be coming. If you can see my screen, it will be coming with the bonus category, and on each and every move, it tells you the bonus category. So if you take a look at what I'm printing on the console, if you take a look at my screen right now, let me zoom in once more. If you take a look at my screen, you'll see that on the left, on the right, where I'm logging them, you can see I'm printing the bonus is animal, the bonus is animal, the bonus is animal, the bonus is animal. So the trick is that before you make your move, if the bonus category is animal, then you need to go and look for the category where the bonus is animal and return that. If it tells you that the bonus category is now landmark, when doing the matching, look for 2 tiles that match that have landmarks and that have landmarks, because at that point the bonus categories are landmarks. Now I want to just show you a sample code. The one I started with. So this is called final one. Is it really this one? Yeah, somewhat optimized. So actually, if you want to get to understand everything about how this thing works, it's advisable if you can copy paste that code and put it on VS Code. It's going to be much easier. Now, I want us to take a look at what's happening step by step. So as Eric said, calculate move has everything, and this is where you need to do all your magic. Yeah, but before you do all the magic at this point, you need to know that we have the analyzed tiles, the previous tiles, and the move number. So actually, this is what I'm using to calculate that. Okay, which move number am I in? Am I in between 1 and 18 or 18 and above? So after 18, then is when I start doing the matching, right? So let's take a look at analyzed tiles. So what happens? Record the number of tiles so that we know how many times we need to loop through, right? So I'm recording, it records the number of tiles, the first move, and then we check if the game state, because each and every time this function is called, it's the AI engine that will be calling the calculate move each and every time it's your turn to play, right? It will be calling this function, and that function ends on line 130 something, right? So every time it's called, it's given the game state, and the game state has got all the information. It has the information of how many moves, how many points you have, what is the bonus category, and these are the stuff we need to be taking a look at. Now, I want to walk you through this code so that you understand. If you paste it on VS Code, you realize that it's quite easy to understand. Now, each and every time this function is called, we do increase the move number by 1, right? And remember, these are global variables, meaning meaning that each and every time the function is called, we can still access them. Like, they are not going to be each and every time the function is called, we can update them, and the state remains like that until our function ends. Now, let's go through it one by one. So this thing is saying record the number of tiles so that we know how many times we need to loop through, right? And that's what we are doing. We are checking the game set on the board. The board is an array with all the tiles we are counting. So the number of tiles is 36. Then we know that we have to make 36 moves, right? And then we increase the move number, telling us that you have made the first move. Now we check if the game state and then the upturned tiles is empty, right? If it's empty, then it means that if the upturned tiles, if the upturned tiles is empty, then what that means is that we failed in our previous move, right? And if it's empty, it means that the previous move, we passed our previous move, or it was our first move. Then else we are going to print the upturned tiles for this move, and we print the move number and the game state. And then if we have not yet used, let me zoom in once more. This one is saying if you have not yet used analyzed tiles, i.e. it's our first time to run the game, that is if the analyzed tiles is empty, what we are doing, because we have 36 tiles, right? We are going to create dictionaries inside that list with the information of each and every board. With the information of each and every tile on the board. So what you're doing, because we have the number of tiles at 36, yeah, and then for indexing range, we are looking through that list, and then we are going to create dictionaries, right? You see, I'm appending analyzed tiles that append a dictionary. This is a dictionary. And then inside that dictionary, I'm appending the index. On each and every index, I'm appending the state to be analyzed, and then the subject to be none, and the category to be none. So you realize that this just one tip. You realize that in your, in the Microsoft template.py that you create, you don't have this, right? Remember, I told you that the secret before is to take care of, is to know the content of each tile. We first of all do the analysis for the past 18 moves, and when we're doing the analysis, we need to store the category, and we also need to store the subject. And because this is our first move, what you're doing, we're just storing the information of each and every tile, but then we are setting it as an analyze, right? Then the very first move, if the game does not have any upturned tiles, and in your last move, in your last matched tiles, you will not have any upturned tiles, right? Then I check to see if we received some upturned tiles for this move, right? So we're going to check if that move that we just made and the upturned tiles is empty, right? If it's not empty, then it means that the analyzed tile image, we analyze the tile images using the Microsoft API store results, right? So what is happening here, if it's empty, if it's not empty, meaning our previous move, we failed, right? We didn't pass, so we need to analyze the content of that. We need to analyze the content of that tile and store it. So it's saying analyze the tile images using the Microsoft API and store the results in an analyzed tile so that we don't have to analyze them again if we see the same tiles later in the game, right? Else, if it is not our first move on the game, right? What you are going to do, if it's not our first move in the game, we check if the previous move is empty. So what that means that then our previous move successfully matched the tile, update our analyzed tile to mark the previous tiles as matched. Yeah, so if our previous move was a match, then our upturned tiles is going to be empty, and our previous move is also going to be empty. Then we are going to store it as matched. So I want to take note of 3 stuff. When you are playing this game, the analyzed tile, it has 3 states. So 1, how do you comment? Let me just note that over here. It has 3 states. 1, the fact that it can be matched, then it can be analyzed. Okay, at first, remember at first when on our first move, what you're doing, we are setting all of them to an analyze, right? So meaning at the beginning, everything is analyzed, and then after analyzing, we'll be changing the states to analyzed, analyzed, and then matched, right? So as I said, these ones you want to be having them when you first playing or when you play your board for the first time. So you can add this one for each and every time. Now, once that is done, so okay, there's something I think I'm forgetting over here. So there's place for analyze tile. So there's this function that you are calling to analyze the tile. This way you are calling the Microsoft API. And Eric did talk about this one. So if game state stroke upturned tiles is not empty, meaning our previous move failed, we are going to do the analysis with the current game state. So if I go to definition, you just right click and then go to definition. If I go to this definition, you see like the function called the function analyze tiles. It takes the tiles and then the game state, right? And then for each and every tile, we call the analyze. So if you go to definition also, actually it's just down here, it receives the style and the game state, right? And then here's where we do the analysis. Call analysis, right? I'm analyzing, I'm checking for animals, I'm checking for this one is checking for landmarks, this one is checking for animals, and then this one is checking for text. But there's something I did add. So if you go to check for landmarks, go to definition, instead of just returning, if you go to check for landmarks, I think I need to, let's look at the original file and look for check for landmarks. Let me go control find, check for, just a minute, please. Okay, sorry, I was talking to someone in my background. Okay, so I'm taking a look at the original file. I just want to show you the difference on some of the things I added. Let me look for check. Check for landmark. This is what I'm looking for. So if I go to definition, right click, go to definition, you can see that in the Microsoft template file that you're going to create, check for landmarks, or even check for animals, you are only returning the subject. And what is the subject? The subject is going to tell you if it's a cow, it's a cheetah, it's an elephant, right? Or if it's the name of the building. But now, remember, we need to keep track of, okay, just a minute. Sorry for that interruption. So I was saying that in the original file, we are only returning the subject, right? And for you to win this win this tournament, you need to keep track of the category, the tile that you just made. You know, just it's giving us the tile, for example, if it's an animal, alone is not that important. We need to know which category is it in. Is it landmark? Is it landmark, or is it text? So if you take a look at what I'm doing here, instead of just returning the subject alone, what I'm doing, I'm declaring subject is equals to none for the first time, and then if I find it, I'm going to return the subject is equals to subject, and then category is equals to landmark. That is if that subject is not none, right? So I'm returning a dictionary, and it is that dictionary that once I return, I'm going to store it. I'm going to store it up over there. And I'm doing the same for check for text. For check for text, I'm also returning the subject, the category. It's by default is going to be words, only if the subject is not none, right? And if you take a look for check for animals, where is check for animals? Check for animals, I'm also returning the subject, the category, which is animals. I need to store all that information because if you take a look at the top, I added these 2 points, that is the subject and the category, right? And if you take a look at the original file that you have, you'll realize that that is not added. Don't, sorry, let me close that. This code is misbehaving. I realized that you are only storing the state and the subject, and just storing the state of the tile and the subject alone is not important. We need to know which category it is so that you can make use of the bonus points, and the bonus points that are going to make you win. Because really, at the beginning, once you've matched all the tiles, you can match all the tiles, but you only score at a maximum of 36 points or 39 points. But if you want to score even 32,000 points, then you have to make use of the bonus category, right? Now, that is that. I can't tell you everything, but okay, I can't show you like the whole code of, okay, this is just like part of the code. Okay, this thing is telling me to install something. Okay, let me install it. I can't show you everything, but now you have the idea. So the most important thing is that you have to, let me go back to the subnet optimized, this one. This Python is installing some stuff that I can't even understand. Okay, so what's happening? Let me, where is that place? This place for call analyze tiles. Let me go back, then go to definition. So remember, after analyzing the tile, what was happening? I'm calling the analyze check for landmarks, the response check for landmarks. If it's not a landmark, and then I'm going to check if it's an animal. If it's not an animal, I check if it's a text. Then after doing that, I'm restoring them back onto the analyze tiles, right? Analyze tiles. So let me go to analyze tiles definition. Go to definition. It's what we have on top here, and it's what at the beginning we initialized 36 dictionaries and marked all of them as unanalyzed, right? So that is the first trick. Now, the second trick, once you've done the analysis, I want you to get back to, I want you to come and look at this. Now, what's happening here is, remember this function called, let me just close that. This function called calculate move, yeah? It starts on line 42 and ends on line 130. So let me just control go to line 130. Yep, so there we are. When this function ends, it normally returns the move. So remember now that I told you the trick was to do, analyze, first of all, you need to analyze the tiles for the past 18 moves. After analyzing then when you start doing the move. So the trick comes here where you are doing the match. So check the stored tile information in analyzed tile to see if we know of anything in the tiles, right? So match is equals to search for matching tiles. So if let me go to this, go to definition, right click, go to definition, then search for matching tiles. What this one going to do, it's going to enumerate, it's going to loop through all the tiles in our unanalyzed tiles, and then what it's going to do is going to check where the tile.state is equals to analyzed, and the subject of tile 1 is equal to subject 2, and the subject is not none, and then the tile in the index is not the same, meaning that that tile, you're not analyzing that tile against itself, you must analyze it against another one. So you realize that it's a nested for loop. And then if you find such a scenario where the two tiles are analyzed, their subject are the same, and their subject are the same, and the tiles are not the same, like it's not tile 1 and tile 1, it must be tile 1 and tile 2, or tile 1 and another tile, right? Then we are returning those two tiles. So I think for at this point, you can think of how you can do some magic over here. No, not magic, actually it's not magic, because we say that we are going to make use of we said you're going to make use of the bonus point. So think of what you can add on that place. Yeah, so let me get back to go to declaration to see where I call that function. Yeah, so that's what that function does. So meaning, if it doesn't find analyzed tiles, right, what it's going to do, it's quite simple. If match is none, then else create a list of all tiles that haven't been analyzed, right? It's going to create a list of all tiles that have not been analyzed, and then it's going to get analyzed tiles. So if I just go to definition, right click, go to definition, what this one is going to do is going to return all tiles that have not been analyzed, right? It's going to look through that list and then return all tiles that have already been analyzed. Then let me go back to where I called it, go to declaration, and if it's empty, if it's empty, okay, if it's empty, then it goes to the else function. But if there's something, then what it does a guesswork, right? This thing is saying, choose the analyzed tiles that you want to turn over in your next move. We turn over a random pair of analyzed tiles, but could you make a more intelligent choice? So this is like a tip, right? Instead of doing guesswork, like, okay, this thing, what this sample is doing is going to return a random number from the analyzed tiles, right? But if it was empty, then it's going to get if meaning there was no unanalyzed tiles, meaning at that point of that move, all your tiles have been analyzed or they've been matched, right? So it gets to this point where if else fails, we'll need to manually match each tile. So what's happening here? Unmatched tiles is equals to get all unmatched tiles. So this one is going to get all unmatched tiles, meaning the tiles that will be coming back, their states is going to be analyzed, only that they haven't been matched, right? So go to definition. It's going to get all tiles that have not been matched, right? Then let me go back to declaration where I got it, and then it also again does a sample move. It randomly selects two, right? Which shouldn't be the case. Then if that wins, if it finds the move, then it returns. Remember, the move returns the indices of those two. The indices of those two tiles on the, the indices of those two tiles from the array. Okay, I'm used to array. I'm used to JavaScript, so it's listed in Python. Yeah, then it returns the move, right? So if you want to win more points, now take note of two things. First of all, you need to make sure that for the past 18 moves, what you're doing is you are analyzing all the tiles. Then after analyzing all the tiles for the 18 moves, then from 19th move, we now start matching the tiles. So the function that does the matching is this. So there's a trick. Here's where now the trick comes. You need to start matching, calling this function for matching when after you have done 18 moves and after you have done all the analysis, right? And then you need to take care of the bonus point. Remember, at this point, this thing is receiving nothing. When you're calling this function, you need to give it the game state and check the bonus point. If the bonus point is animal, then you need to, in your analyzed tiles, you need to return 2 animals so that you can win continuously. And that's why you see my bot was able to win up to 32,000 points. And you can see that sometimes it won't zero because there are some optimizations that still need to make, right? Yeah. So anybody with any question? Yeah, I know this might seem complex, but just take your time and you'll see it's actually quite simple to implement. Yeah, any question? Or niliwapoteza? Did I lose you guys? Oh my God. Okay. Okay, I want to show you something. Where was that start? Let me close that. Bonus is equals to animals, random. Okay, I wanted to check my state. Game state. Bonus category is equals to animals. Just a minute. Okay, there's something I was printing, but it's like I stopped printing. So I think that is all from my side, and that's how. Okay, those are the steps you need to follow if you want to optimize your bot. And if in any case you got lost, I want you to come to this YouTube channel. If you get to YouTube, you're going to find the channel where we have that is going to take you through all the basics. So you just come and search okay, called AI Gaming Student Ambassadors. So if you just search AI Gaming Student Ambassadors, you will find Microsoft Launch Student Ambassadors AI Gaming event. So this is going to take you through the basics. That is what Eric did take you through. And then after that, you can now maybe, I want to make sure that by midnight, I shall have uploaded the recording of this video. Then you can now try and implement what I told you on how to optimize a bot. And luckily, you're able to hit those high number of points. Yeah. That's all from my side. I'm hoping at this point everybody got their Microsoft Azure activation code. So if you didn't get there, maybe I shared a link to a form on the chats, and you can let me know if you haven't received the activation code. So guys, that's all from my side. Anybody with any question? Anybody needs any clarification? Hello? Was I talking to myself? Okay, let me see. Vera, Christine, Winnie, Emmanuel, say something. Did you guys get lost, or do you guys maybe need more explanation? Okay. I'm assuming you guys did understand what I was saying, so I'm going to stop the recording, and let's meet on Wednesday. So on Wednesday, I did share a calendar invite with you guys. We really, there's something, okay, can be said, no question. So there's a problem that occurred. One of the team we're using to organize our events was accidentally deleted. So that's why sending out the invites to everyone has been hectic, because most of the emails you have been sending do land on your spam box, because I'm sending them now using my personal email. So that's why most of them are landing on your spam box. So the email, okay, let me just share the link with the schedule. Let me share the link with the schedule right now before I forget. Just a minute. Let me look for the link. Just a minute, I'm sharing the link. Okay. Share the link. Let me prevent editing while editing. Apply. Don't copy. Yeah, let me paste it in the chats. This document as the schedule, it's a PDF, and if in any case you try and join maybe and it's not working, try and use the same link again. Maybe I shall have updated something, but I doubt. We have already scheduled the meeting on Friday, so it's going to start at 4 p.m. until around 7 p.m. So remember, the top 2 participants are going to be winning full scholarship from Jenga School, and we also be awarding the people who have been attending the meetings consistently, the bootcamp. We keep track. So for them, they'll be receiving Microsoft swag bags, written Microsoft ADC, and the pen and T-shirt. Yeah. So we'll be rewarding at around 4. Yeah, who have been attending the meeting participantly and consistently. And then the first person who submitted their bot. Yeah. So that's all from my side, guys. I can see someone just came. Does the bonus category change every move? Yeah. Yes, Winnie, that's very true. The bonus category changes every move. So I want you, if you take a look at my screen right now, if you want to find the documentation of each one of the games, we have the information tab, and then we have this book, this thing like a book. And then you need to scroll down to Microsoft Match Game, right? And on the Microsoft Match Game, you will see it has everything that you need to know. So it is true, the bonus game changes on each and every move. So that's why you need to always analyze the game state. Yeah. So the game state will tell you on each and every move. Check the game state, which will tell you if the bonus category is an animal or category. So that is how you manage to win that high number of points. So when you're playing your bot, you can play it against anyone. You can play it. You can tell it, for example, okay, there's a how you can. Yeah, you can say, for example, when you want to test your bot, you can test your bot against mine. You can just come to Match Game and then select opponent, anyone, Housebot Practice, or anyone at any game in East Africa. So you can start seeing early enough how good your bot is going to perform. Yeah. So on Friday, I'll try and join the meeting early around 3 p.m. So if you would like to me to help you guide you through, you can join by 3 p.m. so that I can guide you on how to work on bot. Yeah. So guys, thanks for joining. I'm going to end the recording. Yeah. Thank you.